Hi, I'm Mark Willows from Clocks for Classics, and today I'm going to show you how we calibrate this Smith's RVC type tachometer, which we fitted with our UniTacho repair kit. Now, in our previous video we covered the installation of the repair kit, and you can see the circuit board on the top here. And to carry out the calibration, we're going to be using this small push button, the calibration push button, which you can see on the top of the circuit board there. But before we start, the first thing we need to do is connect power to the tachometer, and this can either be with a car battery or with a bench power supply, which is what I'm going to use. So I'm going to connect 12 volts to the positive terminal of the tachometer, and I'm going to connect the negative supply to the back plate of the tachometer. Okay, so to start the calibration process, we hold the calibration button in for at least 2 seconds, and when I release it, you'll see that the needle will start to move very slowly around the scale. It takes a few seconds, maybe 15 seconds or so, before that starts to happen. And when it does start to move, we're going to stop it at several points, the calibration points, to teach the electronics the positions on the scale. So I've been holding the button in and I'm going to release it now. And we'll just wait and see the needle start to move. As I say, it can take a little time, and that really depends on your particular tacho. So we're just waiting now for it to start moving. And when it starts, there, it started now, and I'm going to hold the button down when we get to 500 RPM, which is the first calibration point. So we're just there now, and I'm holding the button down, and I'm waiting for a little kick. And when we see that kick, there it is, then we know the electronics has registered that point, and we can let the button go again and the needle will continue to move round. And it's moving round now, and then I'm going to hold the button down again at the next calibration point, which is 1500 RPM. So if I want to, I can slow the needle down by holding the button in just briefly. And it's coming up to 1500 RPM now. There we are. I'm holding the button down again and waiting for that kick. There's the kick, so I can release the button. And now we're going to let the needle go to the next calibration point, which is 3000 RPM. So we'll just wait while it slowly moves round now. And there's a total of 4 calibration points, which helps to improve the accuracy. Okay, it's coming up to 3000 RPM now. I'm going to press and release it just briefly to slow it down. And it's got to 3000, so I'm holding the button down, waiting for that little kick. There it is. I'll release the button again. And now we let the needle move on to the very last calibration point, which is 5000 RPM. Now when we've torqued the electronics, the points on the scale, then we're going to set up the number of cylinders. And we'll see that in a few moments after I've set up the last calibration point. Okay, so we're getting closer now. Okay, so we're just coming up to 5000 RPM, and I'm holding the button in, waiting for that kick to confirm it's registered. There it is. Now when I let the button go this time, you'll see the needle go all the way back to 0, and then it will go to 3 points, and those will be 1500 RPM, 3000 RPM and 5000 RPM, and they will represent 4 cylinders, 6 cylinders or 8 cylinders. So I'll let it go now. It goes back to 0, and then you'll see it goes to those 3 points. 1500, that represents 4 cylinders. 3000, that represents 6 cylinders. And 5000. Now we want to set this tachometer to 4 cylinders. So we're going to stop the needle by holding in the button when it gets to the first point, 1500. Okay, I'm holding the button in now, and we'll wait for that kick again. There's that kick. So that tells us that we've set the tachometer up for 4 cylinders. Now when I let the button go again, it's going to go to 0 again, and then it's going to go to 3 more points, and that's going to allow us to set the type of ignition system, so contact breakers or electronic ignition, and it can be positive or negative earth electronic ignition. So in the instructions there is a table that tells you which point to stop the needle at depending on which type of ignition system you have. So I'm going to let the button go now. The needle will go back to 0, and it's going to stop at 3 points again. You'll see 500, 1500, and 3000. And it's going to keep repeating that until we choose one of them. And we've got contact breakers, so we're going to stop at 1500. And that'll set the tacho for contact breakers. So I'm holding the button in at 1500, waiting for that kick. There it is. I can let the button go now, and that is the tachometer calibrated. So we've set the points on the scale, we've calibrated it for 4 cylinders and with contact breakers. Now all of this is covered in quite a lot of detail in the written instructions, so you don't have to remember it all. But it's a very flexible system, and if you ever want to change it, you can just apply power, hold the button in again and recalibrate it for a different setting if you wish. So thank you for watching.